I'm Marvin Boudewijk. I'm here for Jan Taube. I'm also the co-founder and CTO of Staige, and I will hold the presentation today. So let's dive right into, just a second. So typical disclaimer. So what is Staige about? Staige is a software technology and a hardware technology. And what we have achieved is that we've installed AI camera system in over 1,200 clubs, mainly in the DACH region. And with this, we're active in over 4 countries. We have 6 years of experience with our product, currently around 50 employees and over 100,000 registered users on our own OTT platform. We're operating in 8 different sports, where soccer is one of the main, or football is one of the main fields, but we also address other sporting events that are on a pitch. We have our own patented camera system. It's called the K2. And we have developed artificial intelligences in order to analyze the live stream coming from this camera, detect the interesting regions, and then automatically zoom and follow the turn of actions. And this AI is also capable to extract basic data analytics for sports or for sports data. So we can, for example, see where players have went and how far they have gone. And this is some of our important capabilities. We've also developed a coaching software called Staige Coach, especially designed for amateur trainers with their special needs for this software. This was developed together with our partner, the BVB, so it's a German soccer club. And we do also operate our own streaming platform, so you can see everything we do on Staige TV. A little bit more about the company. Together with Jan, I'm in our management team. I'm also co-founder of and managing director of the Staige GmbH, which is 100% daughter of the Staige 1 AG. So this is our holding company, and in Staige GmbH, there's operating company. Jan is a former professional player, so he has a lot of contacts in the field of sports, and my main focus is on technology, so I got this side covered. As well is our supervisory board of the Staige AG, which is quite prominent. So we have Professor Dr. Volker Grun from the Adesso SE, which with a deep knowledge in technology and also in building up companies so he is the main founder of the Adesso SE. We have Thomas Kress from the BVB, who is the chief financial officer there, to support us on the financial side. And we have Matthias Loh from the Loh Group, that you probably know in different kinds of fields, where the family office is invested in us and supports everything. So if we have quite an experienced team that is backing up the Staige AG. So basically, how is everything working? What we do is we set up a camera and it's installed permanently at the center line of the pitch. And after it was installed, it will automatically turn off whenever there's a match scheduled, and will automatically record everything that happens on this field. And using artificial intelligence, we are then able to create video feeds specifically targeting the regions of live streaming or broadcasting, for coaching purpose or for analysis purposes. And this is all done using cloud technology and our own cameras of hardware. We've grown quite fast regarding our productions. So we are the largest producer of sport in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland when it comes to the amount of matches that we've produced. As you can see here, we've till today, we have broadcasted more than 120,000 matches, all using AI and with no a manual camera operator. We've over 900 cameras installed in Germany on amateur clubs, and we have some licensing partners, for example, RTL in Luxembourg, and they are broadcasting everything that happens in sport using our technology. So from the first league of handball, volleyball, soccer, and now coming ice hockey. We're, as you can see on the map, that's every dot you can see there is a camera installed and actively streaming for us. We've worked together with some partners. For example, in Austria, we are working together with the Kronenzeitung via Fan.at, and they are broadcasting all the amateur sports that's happening in Austria using our technology and our player, and to distribute it to their fans. So this is a project where we are quite successful and covering most of, or from all of the competitors, we're covering most of the matches. So just need to. So who are our clients? As I already mentioned, it's, for example, it's the RTL group. We have Swisscom in Switzerland. We have Clip My Horse, which is the largest broadcaster for horse riding, and they are driving to use our AI technology in order to reduce their production costs and providing automatically generated streams. The Kronenzeitung in Austria, I also mentioned that. We've worked with Footers in Spain and Rusmedia, and they are all using our technology in a licensing model where we get a monthly revenue and provide the streaming capabilities. Just some of the clubs that are using our camera, mainly not for the first teams, but for example, for their youth teams or the women's league. We work together with the BVB, with the FC Bayern, and various others. As you can see, there are 1,000 more clubs. Most of them you won't ever hear of because they are in lower leagues, and that's what we are addressing with the camera. We also work with sponsoring partners, which are mainly for example, the Sparkasse Westmünsterland, Sparkasse Dortmund. These are all banks that are sponsoring their local sports. So they will pay for the camera so that the local teams can get their streams up and running and see them in the cloud. Because this is an interesting topic for many partners. So AI and sport, this is something that many people can relate to, and it makes AI explainable. So we've seen quite a lot of this media representations having, for example, with documentations, you can see later on this for the NTV. So they did some reports with us, and with every media that we get, more people and more clubs get to know Staige and are interested, so we can really see the connection between increased media reach and orders that we get for the camera system. I've included some of these videos, so later on when you see the presentation or you get the presentation, you can scan the QR code to take a deeper look into this media content. So this is, for example, this sums up everything we do quite well. It's from NTV. They made some reports last year. And also this content that we produce is very interesting for social media, because right now, if you're watching, if you're doing any kind of hobbies, you can usually share it with others and you can share it on social media. The only thing that you cannot share is actually what you do in sports, because most of the time there's no video material available. So if, for example, you have a great goal going on some Wednesday night and no one will ever record it, with the Staige camera, it's always visible. So this is some feature that users heavily use, is to share their content with other users. So we included some of the more funnier social media posts here, and you can look at them later on. Who are we addressing? We are mainly focusing on amateur sports because it's enormous and there's really untapped content in a really emotional field of market. So as you can see on the right side, the professional sports, when you think about soccer broadcasting, you think everything is nearly covered, right? So you have all the first league and second league, you can all watch it on TV. But really most of the sports that's happening in Germany or worldwide is not being broadcasted or recorded at all. So this is a huge potential for us to provide unique video content. So just to give you an example, there are over 35,000 clubs in Germany and only around 120 are being broadcasted. And this is a huge market that we address with our camera system, because we make the streaming and broadcasting cheap and easy and accessible for everyone. So because this is an attractive market, there are obviously some competitors, and we figured out 5 of them and just give you a simple or overview about different capabilities. So the special or some special requirement when it comes to working with amateur clubs is a simple installation. And this, with our K2 camera, you can install a system within 2 hours. And afterwards, you don't need to care about it for 3 or 4 years. So this is really an advantage for clubs, because we can just send the camera to the clubs, they can install it, and afterwards they can start streaming. We offer this directly to clubs using our online shop. So they can just order it and we will send it to them, and they will install it themselves. But we do also offer it to licensing partners, as I talked, like RTL, and they can use our camera technology. So we're really addressing both sides here. And in comparison, you can see we ticked some marks on the important aspects here. So it's available. That's so we have a product that you can actually buy, and you don't need to have a separate agreement in order to whether we want to stream your league, or you're not limited. So if you are a C amateur club, you can still get the camera and start streaming your content. This is our basic offering. So the club will have to pay 99.9 upfront, so 999 euros upfront. We'll receive the camera, and afterwards our packages start at 99 per month. This includes LTE connection, so the club does not need to care about installing an Ethernet connection in order to get the camera running, but they can just use our LTE connection. So this is really easy for them to install. And on the other side, the club has some advantages, because now his content is visible, he can actually increase its membership size. So people get to know the club and they know, okay, they provide this live streaming. I can see when I'm a player at this club, I can see myself and I can display myself. This is an important selling point. Obviously, we provide monetization options for the clubs, so they can use their sponsors and put them in the live stream. So they can actually earn money using the camera signal and go to their sponsors and sell this additional product to them. So most or many clubs can refinance the camera and get something on top of it as well when they contact their sponsors. And also it leads to a certain degree of professionalization, because with Staige Coach, every club has access to all their matches, and the coach can then analyze everything that happens. He can create small clips that he can share with his players, and he can talk about everything that happened during a match, having the video signal available, and he doesn't need to remember what happened exactly, but this is all done automatically. And using our AI technology, we can automatically detect events like the kickoff or goals. So you will have some data available so that you can work with. We monetize the entire value chain. This includes that we sell the camera and you have this monthly subscription fee, but we have also the right to use all the material that was created using our camera system. We can also use to generate further revenue. So for example, we provide or we add advertisement in order to get a return on this. We offer a paywall model where the club can set certain games behind a paywall, and we will get a revenue share on this. It's €1.50 per ticket that is sold for this online event. And we are working on some additional features that will allow to have analytics data used by players, so they can analyze how good they were in the last match and can get their data right on their mobile phone. We provide the technology also for partners. So with all the stuff we talked about is also available to our partners, and they can decide what they need. For example, they can use our hardware, they can use our AIs in order to broadcast their matches, they can use our OTT player and our OTT platform, and now coming is the AI for streaming and data extraction. And this is really the most important point for the future, is having data. Sports data is becoming increasingly important, and with the Staige camera system we are able to analyze a complete match, and we are able to track individual players, and we're currently working on making this data available to everyone. So what you will get here, for example, is that after a match you will be able to just see how far each person has run, how fast they've been, what was the amount of successful passes, etc., etc. So this is the data topic is becoming increasingly important, and this is also something that we sell to our licensing partner as an on-top product, so they can provide it to their customers. And you can use this in various fields. For example, the club and the coaches use the data in order to improve their game. The players can use it because they are interested in their own athletic and performance data. We can use this data for scouts searching for new players, and we can also use it for the viewers, so they will get live statistics during the match that are interesting and makes the sport more accessible. We're currently looking into some cases in China, in Saudi Arabia, and in Turkey, and we're also with Clip My Horse looking towards US, where we will license our product. We have some ongoing talks in China that are really promising because this market is really untapped right now, and we've come quite far. So just arrived yesterday from China, and we will go there in the next steps. To our numbers, so we have some stable growth in our domestic markets. You can see the revenue, our core business is evolving and going up. We have a lot of ongoing subscriptions, so we have recurrent revenue that is inside this in our core business that will just be realized in the next 2 to 3 years based on this monthly subscription model. The sell and lease back, this is for financing camera hardware, and this is just to minimize the need for liquidity reasons. We are using some sell and lease back approach in order to get the money for the cameras, so we don't need to pre-finance this when we are having contracts with our customers. Investment case, the current round is still up and running, so that we have a price per share of €4.23. We plan to get up to 8 million during this round. We're currently having talks with strategic investors that are interested to invest as part of this current investment rounds, and we hope to close it in a couple of weeks. The pre-money valuation is around $20 million. This also reflects some of the efforts that has gone into the technology development and the IP that is inside the company, and also on the recurrent part of our revenues. And because I think I'm almost over with my time, this is just in a nutshell what we do. We have a strong team and an experienced team working on this technology. Our product is proven on the market, and we want to provide this technology worldwide and become leader not only in the DHCH region for broadcasting and streaming, but we want to play an important role worldwide also in the data analytics part for sports data extraction. And now we are open to questions.
Thank you, Marvin Bardovik, the CTO for Stage 1, and apologies for the mix-up in the intro. I wasn't quite up to date with my information here.
It was on our side.
No problem whatsoever. It's actually quite fascinating how technologies priorly accessible only to professional sports are now taking over amateur sports as well. But let's get to this event's final Q&A session. So over to you, Oliver.
Thank you very much, Eero, and thank you, Marvin, for the presentation. Talking about amateur sports and professional sports, you mentioned that Borussia Dortmund or BVB is one of your customers or partners. So do they actually use the Staige cameras, and what do they use it for?
So we are operating with them for their women's team. So they started with a new group, and they decided to move from the leagues starting at the lower league, and we are having the camera with them in order to broadcast everything their teams do. And also for the youth sports, it's used for analytic reasons.
Okay. There is a question in the activity feed concerning your sales. So how do you organize sales, and how do you win new clubs as customers? So do they come to you? Do you have a sales force? How does it work?
So we do have an internal sales force that is currently having a quite larger opportunity pipeline. One way is that we contact local sponsors. This always gives us some benefits, because we're then not addressing only one club, but we're addressing 20, 30 clubs in this region. So this is a good multiplicator to address the clubs. But we also get clubs using social media advertisement or normal advertisement, and then the clubs are directly contacting us, and we do the sales online or telephone supported.
And when you sign up a club, I mean, are there concerns by the players saying, well, I maybe don't want to be filmed or something like that? So how do you handle these data protection issues?
Yeah, so this it's quite important. So we always provide the material in order to inform everyone that these matches are being broadcasted. This is the first thing, so they need to know that they are being broadcasted. We also implemented, I think, as the only provider for camera technologies, we implemented a hardware LED that indicates when the camera is up and running, which is quite important for everyone to know when they are being recorded. In a specific or in a speaking of the real world example, it's not really a problem. So there are only a couple of cases where players contacted us and say, oh, mostly because they were sick, but still playing soccer, and they say, oh, I don't want to be seen here. Could you please remove the video? And usually we are really just saying, okay, then we will deactivate the video. If there are any concerns, this is not a problem. But for most of the cases, I think this doesn't happen a lot over the last 120,000 matches.
Okay, very good. So you talked a little bit about the future monetization options. So we have the questions, what could be future options? Maybe you could just discuss them a little bit further.
Yeah, so the baseline, we need the player position data, and this is something really important when it comes to sport analytics. So when you know where each player have been during the complete match, and you know where the ball was and how it was played, then you have all the data you need in order to create sports data cases. And one particular field that we want to go into is providing this kind of data to individual players. So they can, for example, after when you go jogging, usually you have your smartwatch on because you want to track your data. When you're a soccer player, this is not possible because you're not allowed to wear your smartwatch actually while you play. But still, you would like to get your performance data, right? And this is something that we want to go into deeper and provide this kind of information to the players. So it's as seamless as they are now starting their tracking, their trainings. They can get our data from the video and have it on their mobile devices and can store it like a normal training. So this is one of the fields we're currently going into. Another one would obviously be this case of scouting when it comes to providing this data to scouts. Having this being data driven is an important point. It takes out the subject view of individual scouts and makes it more comparable.
So what is the current status of your, let's say, player data gathering efforts? Mm-hmm. Is that nearly ready to be commercialized, or is there still a lot of work that needs to go into that?
So we've quite some experience with player tracking, but in this particular field, we need to work on some topics so it becomes inequality that we want to achieve. But I'm looking forward to have this coming next year to be available and using our existing hardware. So this is also an important point. We already have over 1,000 cameras, 1,200 cameras installed, and this tracking technology will work with all of the existing hardware. And I think this is really important for us, but it will be available something next year.
Because it's for professional sports, it's always like a fun facts, who was the fastest player. It's usually Alphonso Davies with 37.5 kilometers per hour. But I guess that would be also very interesting for amateur coaches and the players themselves. And
to make it comparable, and you can compare it to him and say, hey, look, at this particular point, I was faster. Yeah,
exactly. We have a question: how much revenues are needed to become break even, and when do you expect that to happen?
Mm-hmm. So we expect to become break even beginning 2026. 2026. We will need some revenue around 4 to 6 million a year. It's a little bit dependent on the market that we're going on. The margin in the licensing case are quite high because we can there sell everything additionally, and they're a little bit lower for the German market, but we're shifting focus to go more into licensing where we can have higher margins.
Okay, understood. And on the map, we could see that most of your cameras are installed in Germany, and there were a few. There was one, I believe, in the UK and one in France. Yeah. So, what is the plan on rolling out in other countries?
Yeah. So we are evaluating. So obviously, Germany is our home market, so that's where we're strong. When it comes to other countries, things are different. So you need to have the local contacts. So that's why we are aiming to work with licensing partners in these fields. So particularly what you saw in France and the US, these are cameras that we're doing together with licensing partners, for example, with Clip My Horse, where they install a camera because they are active worldwide. And we plan to focus on this part in order to provide the technologies to local partners all around the world.
Excellent. Actually, I just see that time is up and we've actually answered all the questions, so that's perfect. Thanks a lot, Marvin, for the interesting insights. And with that, I'll hand back to Eero for some closing remarks.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Oliver. Actually, like Oliver mentioned, this was all for today's German Digital Disruptors Conference. So I want to thank all our fantastic presenters. Thanks to Oliver and Ulster Research, and mainly thanks to our audience for tuning in. So with these words, have a great weekend.